Corbin Carroll's 500th career game was such a Corbin Carroll game. 2 doubles and a triple for our homegrown Wonder Boy, and we are talking about a big win over the Mets right now. And welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. His name is Jesse Jr., and the guy on the ones and twos name is Damon Fairall, aka your dog, my dog, Damon Dog. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, brought to you by our friends at Game Time and Bet365. Of course, make sure to download that Bet365 app where winning is everything. Download that app today and use code PHNX365. We're also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Welcome in to you guys. Thrilled to have you here. Thrilled to be talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks winning game 2 of this 3-game series against the New York Mets by a score of 7-2. The Diamondbacks are now 6-6 on the season. And Damon, you know exactly what that means. Send them up the mountain. I never thought we were going to see him again. Damon. But here we are. It's never been more over, and we've never been more back. Diamondbacks once again back up to 500 on a day where Corbin Carroll played his 500th career baseball game as a major leaguer. And man, can't wait to see what he does with the next 500 games. Am I right? The guy celebrated it, and he definitely had himself a day out there. Corbin Carroll and the Dbacks offense woke up early in this game in the first 2 innings, scoring 5 early runs and giving the Diamondbacks a sufficient lead on a day where Ryne Nelson and his fastball were very, very good on the mound. But again, the Diamondbacks got a hot start in this one, something which was just such a welcome sight. It's such a welcome sight to see that 7 number on the scoreboard, is it not, Damon? I mean, it's a beautiful sight to finally see the Diamondbacks.
I didn't know it was possible to score that many runs.
I really didn't either. And I mean, it finally felt like we were going to be able to see this team turn it over to the bullpen and not have it be a close game. And the bullpen wasn't perfect, as they haven't been. But as we've said, if you give them more than a 1-run lead, the bullpen can get the job done. And overall, just a good day here from the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, hot start there in early on, and it all started with 1 out and Corbin Carroll doubles in the first inning, and then Geraldo Perdomo brings him in with an RBI single that gave the Snakes an early lead there, 1-0. But the second inning is where things really exploded for this team, and that's where things started to look really good offensively. The inning started with Ildemaro Vargas and Jose Fernandez, whose names will say a lot in this game, but man, when you start Jose Fernandez, good things happen. I don't know how much louder I need to say that to get people in the back to hear me, but my God, when you start Jose Fernandez, good things happen. Wasn't a perfect day for Fernandez defensively. I mean, he's still developing as a first baseman over there, but still also he made himself a pretty outstanding play later in the game to rob, I believe it was Marcus Semien, of yet another hit, keeping him hitless in this series. But second inning starts there with Ildemaro Vargas. Vargy having himself an incredible season here early on, being a huge contributor offensively, defensively, just doing it all over the place. He and Fernandez both get on with a pair of singles to lead off that second inning. Then Tim Tawa moves him over with one of the greatest bunts I've ever seen with my eyes in my lifetime. The ball looked like it was under some sort of magical spell, And as the broadcast alluded to, Tim Tawa couldn't do that again if he ever tried to in his entire life. It was the most perfect bunt ever. And I mean, it didn't even need to be that good to move those two guys over. But the only way it would have been better is if Tawa reached. But again, Tawa with an incredible bunt. Barosa with a very patient at bat. And Jorge Barosa, again, another guy who we have talked a lot about his lack of offense, his lack of contributions. But so far this season, it's him and the other guys there later in the lineup that honestly have been getting the job done. So Barosa walks to load the bases, and then Ketel Marte comes up in a big spot with bases loaded. He singles, bringing in Vargas and pushing the lead up to 2-0 at the time. And then again, our homegrown wonder boy, Mr. 500, comes up in his second at bat and hits his second extra base hit of the day. This one, another double. This scores Jose Fernandez and Jorge Barosa to make it a 4-0 game. And then Perdomo brings in Marte one batter later with a sac fly to increase the lead to 5-0. And Candace is right, Damon. We left the cactus light in the other room. And now I think the Cardinals podcast, has the Cardinals podcast started? I don't care if they've started. Walk in there on Bo, get the cactus light, tell Bo to shut up. Tell him this is what happens when he takes Studio K. Tell him I said that, and then bring in the cactus light that I brought batteries in for just so we could turn it on. We had a whole conversation about turning on the cactus light. You're right, Candace. Thank you for bringing that up. And again, we're going to address that directly. But it was great to finally see the Diamondbacks there string together some hits in an inning along with just the way that they perfectly played that game. The bunt by Tawa, a sac fly by Geraldo Perdomo. It was Diamondbacks baseball. It wasn't big. It was singles, it was walks, it was bunts, and the Diamondbacks are able to plate 4 runs in the inning and push the lead to 5-0. And again, this is the exact type of thing that we've been wanting to see from this offense. This is what we thought we would see about an offense that has been as productive as this team has been in the past, minus the sluggers that are no longer here. By the way, those sluggers, Naylor and Gino, they're struggling themselves, especially Naylor, but again, this team has the ability to get things done, and they have the ability to get it done in this manner, the way that they got it done today. So very impressive. Also, the Diamondbacks had 8 strikeouts today, which was a little uncommon for them. They were being a bit more aggressive, and that's something, of course, that they have been good at, including, I mean, this entire season, the Diamondbacks entered play today with 79 strikeouts as a team, which were the fewest in Major League Baseball. They were ahead of the Marlins, Dodgers, Braves, Cardinals, and Phillies. So now that total sits considerably higher now at 87 strikeouts after their 8 Ks today. Ketel Marte had 2 of them, but it was just good, again, to see the Diamondbacks being aggressive at the plate and getting those early runs to support Ryne Nelson. You know, these starting pitchers have been outstanding, and we're going to talk about that here shortly, but overall, it felt like this was, exactly what this team needed there in New York. And then, as quickly as the offense seemed fixed, it was gone again, which is also something that we have seen out of the Diamondbacks offense over the last 2 seasons. But after Corbin Carroll's 2 RBI double there in the second inning, the Diamondbacks hitters only mustered up 1 single and 1 walk until the 7th inning, when Mr. 500 once again came up to the plate, and this time his extra base hit was a triple. Corbin Carroll had himself an amazing day today at the plate. He wasn't able to score there, though, and that's also a very Diamondbacks thing, to have a runner in scoring position at third base with 1 out and not be able to use those last 2 outs to be able to bring him across home. But the Diamondbacks were finally able to get their offense going again in the 8th inning, and that was something that was very encouraging to see. They added some late runs that finally felt like this game got put away. With 1 out in the 8th, Vargas and Fernandez, once again, both singled, pair doubles there, or pair singles there to get up to the base. And then Tim Tawa walks to load the bases, and Jorge Barosa delivers with a 2 RBI double that increased the Dbacks lead to 7-1. That's something that we really haven't seen from this team at all this year. Even when they are able to score, it's kind of in small bunches, and you're not really seeing them tack on more runs later in the game. This was a very complete game today from both the position players, the defense, and, the pitching staff. But the defense wasn't perfect today. I mean, there was a lot of miscues. Nelly missed covering first base or missed a catching the ball that was passed over to him in the second inning. That led to the Mets' first base runner. And then there was a fielding error by Ildemaro Vargas that should have ended the inning in the fourth. That extended the inning. Luckily, the Diamondbacks got out of that one without a run scoring by the Mets. But Jorge Barosa made an incredible diving play there in the third inning in the outfield to rob Carson Bench of a hit. And then Jose Fernandez, like I said, even though there were times where he looked a little off over there at first base, made another outstanding play there on Marcus Semien. That kept him hitless in the series. By the way, speaking of players being hitless in the series, Mark Vientos and Marcus Semien both hitless in the series. And I swear to God, Steve Berthiaume wanted to do everything he could to bring it up enough to make those guys get hits, especially in big moments. I didn't understand what was going on. It's like he loves saying it. It's like he loves being like, Mark Vientos is hitless so far in this series as these guys step up and look to, tie the ball game or have a big hit. So I hate that part of Berthiaume's game. But Diamondbacks, again, 6 through 9 hitters, man, getting the job done. And I think that's the most impressive thing is that those guys are putting runners on base. They're stacking things up for Marte, for Carroll, for Perdomo, and giving these guys an opportunity, to drive in runs. Ildemaro Vargas. What more can we say about Ildemaro Vargas, who's still hitting 500?
I was wrong, okay?
500, Damon.
I get it. I was wrong.
3 for 4 today, 2 runs scored. He has a 1.324 OPS and a 500 batting average.
This is where I prove to everybody that, yes, when I say things like Jorge Barosa, you might be an enemy of the program next year, I am not rooting against these guys. I called out one Ildemaro Vargas, and I said, I don't think I really care to watch him play a ton of baseball this next season.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks damn good, and he looks like every bit like he belongs on this roster. And for that, I am the happiest man on earth, Derek.
Yeah.
I'd like to, this is my Lou Gehrig speech. I'd like to consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I get to watch Ildemaro Vargas play baseball for my franchise.
Vargy ball and Barosa ball, right?
Special.
Left on base too often, by the way, was looking for you and is concerned. We don't have a good camera aimed at Damon in this particular studio like we do over in Studio K. Another reason why we're jealous.
Yeah, we got kicked out by the Cardinals.
We got kicked out by the Cardinals crew. We don't have our cactus light. I mean, we barely made it out with Jesse Jr., who, by the way, I don't have to worry about Jesse Jr.
Sweet boy.
Sweet boy. But let's see. This was a good day for the Diamondbacks all the way around. Geraldo Perdomo had himself a good day, even though he didn't. I mean, Perdomo just contributes. He's 1 for 2 today with an RBI and 2 walks. I know it's not what we're used to seeing out of Perdomo, but still, like right now, he's still having good at bats. He's still finding a way to get on base, but there's not enough that can be said about Corbin Carroll and his big day here. And Corbin Carroll, of course, is our king snake. There's no doubt about it. Corbin Carroll now 3 for 5 in this game, 2 doubles, 1 triple, 2 RBI, and also 500 career games. 500 career games. So in honor of Corbin Carroll's big day, Damon, let's bring it back here. We're going to go ahead and turn on the cactus light.
Wow.
There it is. It's
special.
It's really bright. See, this is why we turn the lights off. And also, I don't know, these AA batteries might not be the strongest, but it's here. It's living. I'll put it back there when I get a chance. But yeah, big day for the Diamondbacks overall. Also, we have to talk about the pitching because the pitching deserves its flowers, specifically the Diamondbacks starting rotation. Another big start here, another good start from yet another Diamondbacks pitcher, and things are going well for them. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You are watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, Circle K is America's thirst stop, but more importantly, it's my thirst stop. It's Derek's thirst stop. It's Damon's thirst stop. And for good reason, because you are going to save on everything you want to drink over there at Circle K. You're going to save on snacks, you're going to save on food, and you're obviously going to save on gas. But most importantly, when you join the inner circle right up front, you're going to save on all sorts of things, including getting those Polar Pops for 79 cents and those Frosters for 99 cents. If you buy 3 20-ounce Coca-Cola products, you're going to save yourself 25 cents per gallon on your next fill-up, as well as all sorts of other deals, including buy 2, get 1 free Monsters on their 16-ounce cans. And that includes their exclusive Circle K Ultra Punk Punch flavor. So do not miss out on all of the savings to be had over at Circle K. You can join the Circle K or join the Inner Circle for free, and it's super easy. You can do so by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for deals. And then when you go in, you just use your phone number for you to save on all sorts of stuff. So save big today over at Circle K. And again, get yourself something to drink. While you're there, also get yourself an Arizona Lottery scratcher ticket. It's a great time for you maybe to win yourself a few $1 million. I don't know. That sounds pretty good.
Up to $5 million.
$5 million?
With tickets as low as $1. It's unbelievable.
I know exactly what Damon and I would do if we won that money. Well, I don't know if exactly.
I'd go to Mexico City.
We would go to Mexico City. And
like, it's not even a question.
Then we'd probably go all over the place. Like, we'd still do this podcast, and we'd probably still demand a fee for doing it, but money would be no object for us, because that's what we would multiply. We would multiply the amount of baseball road trips we would be taking. And of course, you can multiply all the things that you love in life with the new multiplier scratcher tickets from Arizona Lottery. Like Damon said, with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big enough to do more of the things you love. Multiplier tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. So do not miss out on grabbing yourself a multiplier scratcher ticket from wherever retailer you get them from. Circle K is a great place to do so, but they also have access to over 3,500 retailers across the state, so you can play whenever and wherever you'd like. Love to play with Arizona Lottery, and of course must be 21 or over to play. Damon, today we saw the Ryne Nelson that we all know and love. This was the one that we expect to see. This is the guy on the mound that, quite frankly, Nelly needs to be in order for him to stay as a part of this starting rotation. And his fastball was simply incredible today. He used it a lot, too. He used it a lot. But you would, too, if you were throwing it 96.7 miles per hour and you had the vertical ride that freaking fastball had today, because he had Mets pitchers little flustered in the box. And I think that's why you saw him throw his four-seam fastball 76% of his outing today. I've always joked that Ryne Nelson throws his fastball 60% of his outing. And for the most part, that's actually fairly accurate as far as his usage is concerned. It's not like I'm exaggerating a ton. A lot of days you will see Ryne Nelson at 60% fastball usage. But holy crap. 65 fastballs he threw today, 76% usage. Look at this. You could barely find the sliders and the curveballs in there. Forget the cutters. They're also red, so good luck finding those.
There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, he didn't throw many. He only threw 3. You're right. That's exactly how many he threw. He also threw his slider 16% of the outing and his curveball 5% of the outing. But that's it. Just 14 sliders, 4 curveballs, and the rest was just a big old fat diet of four-seam fastball. Like, sit on it. Sit on it, Potsy. You can't do anything with it. That's how good Ryne Nelson's fastball is. Just think about this. Most hitters sit and wait for the opposing pitcher to throw a fastball. That is what they sit and wait on. And they still couldn't do anything with Ryne Nelson's four-seam today. 8 whiffs today on his four-seam, 3 whiffs on his slider. And again, it's another outing where he didn't put up overpowering numbers. This isn't a day where you're going to look and see Ryne Nelson have 12 strikeouts or anything like that. And I think this goes back to the central theme that we've been discussing about this pitching staff, where it seems like they are worried way more about getting outs and way less about how they get those outs. Understanding that pitch efficiency and getting outs through ground balls and flyouts is far more effective at times than worrying about strikeouts, worrying about dancing on the edge, of the zone and missing, walking a lot of guys, putting a lot of runners on. No walks today for Ryne Nelson. And at one point, he basically had a no-hitter going, and that got kind of broken up and couldn't get it quite through the 5th inning, though I think he probably could have made it through. Got into a little bit of trouble there, and the Diamondbacks had a 5-1 lead, so they turned to the bullpen a little early. Ryne Nelson ends up going 5 2/3 innings. He gives up 5 hits, just the 1 earned run, 0 walks, and 5 K. And they have Ryan Thompson come in and get that last out in the 6th inning, and the Diamondbacks get out of it. Ryan Thompson. But yeah, Ryan Thompson, good season continues. Still no earned runs allowed by Ryan Thompson. And then the Dbacks turned to Andrew Hoffman for 2 innings of work. Wasn't perfect. He did give up an earned run. He did walk one and struck out two, but still, Andrew Hoffman comes in, gives the Diamondbacks multiple innings of work on a day where our guy Jack Summers had pointed out that, the bullpen didn't have very many arms available. So they kind of needed this. They probably weren't going to pitch Johnny Lasagna. They did not want to pitch Paul Sewald. They have to go to Sewald. And, this is a day where the bullpen went out there and got the job done. Things looked a little shaky at times, but it never felt like the Diamondbacks were ever really in danger outside of that sixth inning when Ryne Nelson had to come out. He gave up that one earned run. But Taylor Clark comes in the ninth inning, gets an inning of work in, gives up one hit. And for most part, this bullpen just quietly kind of goes, finishes up. That's it. No real drama, no real danger. And the Diamondbacks win this one by a score of 7-2, especially with those late runs added in. But again, among National League teams, the Diamondbacks starting rotation now has a 3.01 ERA, 21 earned runs allowed in 62 2/3 innings pitched, which ranks third best in the National League. It's behind the Braves and the Cubs for the best starting pitching ERA. And the Cubs now have themselves a dilemma with Cade Horton being out for what looks like an extended amount of time. Sucks for them, does not suck for us. We've been there. But their 21 earned runs are tied for the National League's third fewest, again, behind the Cubs and the Pirates. And the Pirates made an interesting move here today that we're going to talk about a little later on. But let's give some credit here. It's still early. It's still, a thrill ride late for this bullpen. But again, as we said, if you give the Diamondbacks bullpen this season more than a one-run lead, it feels like they can secure it. And today they allowed one run, and it's another case of that. But more important, the starting pitching staff has been giving this team a chance to win almost every single game going out there. I know Brandon Pfaadt struggled a little bit. Ryne Nelson also has struggled, but this is a really good outing from Nelly. A great way to bounce back after things kind of went sideways on him there, I believe, in that Braves series. So, never thought I would be sitting here, Damon, and talking about in 2026 the Diamondbacks pitching staff being the reason why this team is still good, is still in a good position. But that's exactly what's going on. The Journey would like to talk about Corbin Carroll winning the Haymate Bone Championship over Francisco Lindor.
And Jackson Holiday, who still hasn't played a lick of baseball yet this season, and his injury happened around the same time.
I mean, in fact, Corbin Carroll was giving both of them pointers on how they could maybe use an axe handle bat to get their swings back a little bit.
Wow.
I wonder if either of them listened. Maybe they should have after watching him go 3 for 4 today with 2 doubles and a triple.
I think I would listen.
I would listen to him. Corbin Carroll, by the way, hitting .333 now with a 1.098 OPS. It's pretty good.
It's pretty decent. Good. It's decent.
Jose Fernandez also hitting .300 with a 900 OPS.
That's our sweet boy.
Let's see how many days until he starts again, shall we? God, I hurt myself with that laugh.
I mean, it was kind of funny how it played out with Jose Fernandez, because I think the first game, we were making that joke in the post game. I was saying in the post game, like, what are the odds Torrey benches him tomorrow? And you were like, well, joke's on you, Damon, because Torrey already announced that he's playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then Torrey went on to announce that was a mistake, and that or something of that ilk. He said something like it was not planned for him to start the next day after that, but
it changed.
They audibled it because of how good he played in that game.
Right.
And then he proceeded to sit the next 3 games after that. And you're sitting there and you're like, no, it actually wasn't a joke. That's how the Diamondbacks organization slow plays these young players, even though it feels like Jose Fernandez helps this team win right now and gives you the best long-term outlook of any of the players that you could be looking at in his similar position. So we need to see Jose Fernandez, I should say, play all the time. I wish we had Jose Ramirez on this team.
I really do.
But we need to see Jose Fernandez play a lot more than he has been. And yeah, he's been playing his ass off.
Fun side note that has nothing to do with anything, but Damon told me this earlier because we are the leading Nap LaJoy podcast on the air currently. Jose Ramirez now beat out Nap LaJoy for the longest tenured member of the Cleveland franchise in history.
Correct. And Nap LaJoy famously was the person who was the player manager legend who got traded to Cleveland.
He was literally like he's like Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro.
He is.
But in a real body.
They were like, you know what?
They named the team after him.
Yeah, they changed the team name to the Cleveland Naps because of Nap LaJoy.
It was short for something else, but
yes.
they just wanted to call him. They just wanted to name it after him. But
yeah, and then of course, J Ram, now the franchise leader in games played, the only active MLB player who is their franchise leader in games played, of which will be met with a fellow active player, hopefully later on this year, barring knock on wood, any sort of injury. Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte at the end of this year will hopefully have enough games played where he will be the all-time leader in Diamondbacks history in games played. And there will be 2 active MLB players that lead their franchises in games played throughout history. So would be pretty electric. We would love to see it.
Pretty sick. Also, Corbin Carroll leading the Major League Baseball with 3 triples right now.
I mean, Corbin Carroll leading the league in triples is the easiest bet that you can make.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially you're betting on, will Corbin Carroll stay healthy this season or not?
Yeah.
Yes or no. And me and my one of my buddies, we were looking at it before the season on Bet365 at the triples leaders in baseball. Dude, Derek, he was like plus 200 to lead the league in triples. Like out of every player in the sport, they were like, yeah, we know who's going to lead the league in triples. It's Corbin Carroll. And it's just not even going to be close if he stays healthy. The guy, the mixture of the speed plus the elite hitting, he's the only person that is going to put the ball in the gap enough and be fast enough to get to third base. And he does it at he's going to get like 20 triples this year. It's nuts.
I know. I hope he sets the major league record for triples.
He's going to set the modern record. Yeah. Absolutely. No question about it. It's the Nap LaJoys of the world.
Yeah. Back in 1843, he had 75 triples in a season.
Like Ty Cobb has like 500 career triples.
Yeah, because no one wanted to get spikes in their face when he was coming around sliding into the base.
Guys, don't even bother throwing it into third base.
Do not throw to me. Do not throw to me. Big Blue Brush, I kind of agree with this take, says every time Arenado comes to the plate, he looks like he's about to smoke one over the wall. And every time it's either a pop-up or maybe a weak single, I feel like he's going to pop soon. I feel like that too. I feel like it's like an inevitable breakthrough here. Same thing with Perdomo. I still think Perdomo's putting together good at bats. He's just not getting those big hits and having that success. And I feel like Arenado's right there, but it's also very frustrating to watch. I will say he looks very good in the hoodie jersey combo up there in New York, though. You know I'm a fan of that look, and he looks outstanding. More importantly, there are some pieces to this bullpen that continue to look outstanding. I know things were a little shaky there for Taylor Clark, but Taylor Clark still seems like he is going to be able to deliver consistently for this team through the bullpen. I like Andrew Hoffman a lot. Ryan Thompson just still hasn't allowed a single earned run, and Juan Murillo looks very strong as well. Hopefully, Jonathan Loaizaga can kind of get things back on track to where he was in his first couple of outings. And then, I mean, the Diamondbacks still have some questions there about Paul Sewald. Taylor Rossi has done his job as well here, but I have some questions about Sewald. I have some questions about Ginkel. And man, it would just be refreshing to see the Diamondbacks perhaps trust someone else in those late innings, in those big high leverage innings, than those 2 guys, and again, maybe just try testing that out and see if you can start counting on someone else there late in games. It felt like that's why they turned to Jonathan Loaizaga, and even though that worked for a little while, it hasn't worked 100% with those 2 blown saves he has. But still, the starting pitching staff has done a great job, and I mean, they deserve their flowers. I still think that Brandon Pfaadt has some impressing to do. I think Ryne Nelson and Pfaadt both might have their backs against the wall a little bit with the Merrill Kelly return being imminent. But again, I'm not sure what decision this team ends up making when that happens. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of this break, we are going to talk about the numbers from this game and some more about, of course, the upcoming matchup between Erod and Nolan McLean. So don't you go anywhere. You are watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, if you are ever involved in an accident or serious injury, you have to know that the lawyer that you hire does matter, and you have to do your research. before you have a chance to hire a lawyer. Of course, that's why the husband and wife law team wants you to contact them first. They are an attorney that's focused on your best outcome, not on how much money the firm ultimately makes. This team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience. Plus, Mark and Alexis Breyer are just some tremendous people here with roots in Phoenix and, some great sports fans. You're going to find them out at Diamondbacks games all the time. They are some tremendously kind people, but they also know their way around a courtroom. They are trial lawyers that know how to go to trial, and they know what needs to be done in order to prevail in front of a jury. They also have certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. And in the state of Arizona, the state bar has certified less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation. So they are experts. They know what to do if you are ever involved in an accident like this. So, of course, nobody can guarantee the outcome of a legal case, but they can make some promises to you as their client, including that you can cancel their fee agreement at any time for any reason, that you'll receive as much money in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney fees to do so. And you may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything you want to discuss, including Jose Fernandez. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. Can you imagine that, Damon? Like just being like, hey, they need to start Jose Fernandez. Am I right? Yeah, see, you're right.
I mean, Mark and Alexis are ball knowers. They love their Diamondbacks, and I guarantee you Mark has some takes he needs to get off about.
Don't even
about
get Mark
Jay Fern
started on how much he probably loves Michael Soroka. So that's a whole other conversation. But of course, if you are looking to get yourself into a brand new ride, there is no better place to do it than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Not only are we out there having a great time with all of our events at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass, but you can have a great time by winning one of their fabulous Corvettes with their fabulous Corvette giveaway. Drive into excitement right now. The fabulous Corvette giveaway running through April 24th. 4 casinos, 4 Corvettes, 4 big chances to win. Can qualify by stopping into any one of their casino locations on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They'll have hourly drawings for free bonus play or a finale entry. All day on Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can earn 4 times the entries when you play with the card. And on Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., they have their hot seat finale qualifier, where again, you play with your card for your shot at a chance to win one of these amazing Corvettes. Plus, they have exclusive swag giveaways throughout the promotion. So don't miss your chance to accelerate into luxury. Play, earn, and win at any one of their 4 casino locations. Speaking of numbers, speaking of winning stuff, let's talk about the Diamondbacks win in this game. The Diamondbacks win this one by a score of 7-2. They handled things when they had runners in scoring position. They took care of business for once. 4 for 10 today with runners in scoring position. The Mets were just 1 for 5. Diamondbacks hard hit percentage today, 44.4% to the Mets, 51.7%. A lot of balls being hard hit, but a lot of them finding gloves for sure. The Diamondbacks had 4 extra base hits. 3 of them were owned by Corbin Carroll. To the Mets, 1 extra base hit. Expected batting average, 299 for the Dbacks. Expected batting average, nearly 300 up there in New York with the wind and the cold. Meanwhile, the Mets were just 195. And then let's look at this one, baby. ABS challenges. Diamondbacks today, including Gabriel Moreno, 3 for 3. Mets were 1 for 1. A lot of making the ump look bad in this. We did it for sure. We did it.
We did it, Gabby.
Gabby did it.
Yeah, he did. It's awesome.
The Diamondbacks still, oddly enough, have one of the highest percentages of success rate in Major League Baseball, but Damon will be the first to tell you that's because they never use their challenges. So it's easy to have a high percentage of success rate when you don't actually use your challenges often.
I know it's not the truth, but it feels like this is the first time all season where the Diamondbacks have challenged their opponent in terms of sheer numbers of we did it 3 for 3 and they did it 1 for 1. It feels like it's always the other way around, or 1 for 2 because Gabby usually misses at least 1.
Yeah, no, I mean the ABS challenge system thing, I mean, it's working. I still hate it for the reasons that I've detailed entirely too many times, but the biggest point is like yesterday's game with the huge ABS challenge there by ADC, it can literally flip a game. And I think that when I've seen it go the opposing team's way, I'm not upset by it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more upset by the Diamondbacks' usage or infrequent usage or not using it when they could have reversed a call rather than I am about the opposition getting calls overturned. I think that baseball fans at the end of the day just want to see all the calls right. We just want to see this called down the middle. We want to see the umpires making the right call. We want to see the game played fairly. Every once in a while, you don't have things go your way or whatever, but I still don't love it, but the excitement of it and everything else it generates is fun. Plus, again, how much fun has it been to really just point and laugh at the umpires for how much they're wrong at times. I do agree with the thought process that the lack of challenges in games shows you kind of how frequently the umpires are actually right, how little they're wrong. But those times that they're wrong can have a huge impact on a baseball game. So again, this is just it's good to see the Diamondbacks starting to figure some things out here with their challenge usage, and it's good to see Gabby not misusing them for once. We got our Terrence Tidbits sent a super chat here, Damon. It says, Corbin Carroll is unbelievable. Best athlete in the Valley right now. Top 3 player in the National League. Those are all takes I completely agree with, and I can't argue with.
Terrence knows ball. Yeah.
Terrence knows ball. You know who else knows ball? Eduardo Rodriguez. And he will be on the mound for the Diamondbacks in the finale tomorrow.
Massive.
Going up against his World Baseball Classic rival, I guess you could say, his opposition, the ops from the World Baseball Classic, Nolan McLean. I mean, this is fun, man. This
Nolan
is great.
McLean.
With the way that Eduardo Rodriguez has been pitching, I mean, don't you have all the faith in him now suddenly? Like,
you feel pretty good in any game Erod's pitching with the current last 3 starts that we've seen out of the guy. He's been absolutely fantastic. Honestly, 4, he was really good for Venezuela in the first game he pitched for them as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the game against the Dominican Republic, and he still credits his own teammates for wrecking him in that game a little bit, for him deciding to like go away from the fastball usage as much, which was funny because he just brought that up kind of casually. Like, it was like the Dominican Republic made me careful about how much I'm going to use my fastball or my four seam or something. But man, I mean, like, he's just been a different guy. And I know that his health has been a topic we've brought up a bunch, but I mean, you have this thing in life where when you're not 100%, you still got to go out there and you still got to try to give it your best. We've all experienced that. We've all had days where we've come to work because it was an important day and we weren't feeling our best. And we know that if we let on to our coworkers we're sick, they're going to kick our asses out of the office. So we kind of hide it, that kind of thing, right? Like, this is one of those things that Eduardo Rodriguez tried his best to be on the mound for the Dbacks in the 2 years he's been here as much as possible. But, the fact of the matter is he has not been at 100% health until the second half of last season. And this year he's already said that this is the best he's ever felt in a Diamondbacks uniform. So hopefully that health is a big reason why we saw the lackluster performance from him over the past 2 seasons with a 5+ ERA and a FIP to match. So, and again, this is a small sample size. We still want to see him do it here across a larger portion of the season. But so far, it looks like we're getting a very good, very consistent Erod. Hopefully what we also get from him in tomorrow's game is a long outing. That's something the Diamondbacks bullpen could definitely use. He went 7 scoreless in his last outing at home. The Diamondbacks ended up losing that game. Let's get this man some run support tomorrow. Let's do it early like he did for Ryne Nelson, and hopefully Erod can carry you to a win not only in Game 3, but a series win overall here against the Mets. If the Diamondbacks can figure out a way to take tomorrow's series, that would mean that the only series they've lost all season long up to this point is that opening series where they got swept by the Dodgers. And this is a tough month where we don't expect a lot out of this team, but getting above 500 right now would mean a lot. And somehow being able to possibly carry that through the month of April till you get into May. And then you got a long stretch against, like I said before, I disrespected them, but you got a Colorado Rockies team and a Giants team that you play like 13 games in a row against, 2 series with both teams in a row. And even though that was looking at one point like it was going to be a nice opportunity to pad some wins, the Rockies are playing some pretty good baseball lately, and they don't look like they're going to be the pushover that they were in 2025. So Diamondbacks need to, again, kind of get some wins here where they can. They have a series with the Milwaukee Brewers at the end of the month, who are really banged up. Bryce Terang has experienced an injury. Jackson Churrio's out. So again, that's another tough team that I believe is still playing some good baseball, that has experienced some injuries, and it could be a good time to catch them. Meanwhile, Nolan McLean is Nolan McLean. So the Diamondbacks, again, can't take him lightly. But last time these two matched up, Damon, advantage Erod. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Erod was unbelievable in that game, and maybe it's a big part of the reason why he has looked as good as he has to start this season, because it's hard to not feel confident after going up there and shoving against Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt and Gunnar Henderson, and just all these superstars that Team USA featured, and Erod mowed those guys down. So I mean, he's been unbelievable to start, and definitely would be a big win tomorrow if you could get it.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I just got excited there because I really think after hearing you say that, like, that had to have a big impact on him rolling into his next start, essentially being against the Dodgers during the opening series, right? Like, after facing a lineup like Team USA, it has to make you at least look at a team like the Dodgers and be like, those are just some guys in a uniform. In fact, I remember that was one of my favorite quotes that Erod said. Erod said that playing in the American League East for as long as he did when he was playing with Boston kind of taught him not to be like in awe of those jerseys that those guys are wearing over there, because at the end of the day, that's just a guy. It's just a guy with a bat in his hand. He might hit the ball 27% of the time or 23% of the time or even 30% of the time. But right now, it's going to be one of those times where he doesn't hit the ball because I'm pitching. And again, Erod, you feel like if Erod has some confidence here rolling into this, which he absolutely should with the way he's pitched up to this point, you feel like the Diamondbacks have a good chance to probably take that game and again, take this series against the Mets. That would be great as they roll into another tough series after this one with the Philadelphia Phillies. And those Phillies, they just lost today to the San Francisco Giants, I believe. They're also a team that aren't exactly playing their best baseball right now. So it's a weird season. Like, looking at the schedule, you are starting to see perhaps some of the tougher teams that are on our schedule transforming into perhaps weaker teams or teams that might be easier to beat. And then vice versa. Some of those teams that you thought were going to be pushovers a little bit, like the Rockies, might end up being a little bit tougher than we expected them to be. But again, big win here for the Diamondbacks. Love that expected batting average of 299. You also love seeing them go 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. But most importantly, you just love seeing them put up more than 5 runs in a baseball game, which at this point, I believe they've only done twice this season, if I'm not mistaken. So again, this is a team that offensively we thought we weren't going to have to worry this much about. And today was an example of what they can be offensively. I think that's the biggest thing about today's win is it definitely looks like this is a team that can produce offensively by stringing together hits in a timely fashion and, putting together those big innings where they just kind of put a little bit of a conga line together, start bringing in those runners in with single after single. And again, Corbin using his speed to get into scoring position and get on base today. Huge. Also, 500 games for Corbin Carroll. Look at all of the history that this man has already made in just 500 baseball games. Cannot believe the Diamondbacks did such a good job of extending him before he had a chance to blow up and become this level of superstar. Similar to Geraldo Perdomo last season when the Diamondbacks just perfectly extended him at the right time before he goes out there and puts up an MVP caliber season for this team. So great stuff. And on the other side of this break, we are going to talk about the Pirates trying to do that exact thing with one Konnor Griffin, signing him to a historic contract extension. We're also going to talk about the Braves splitting that series with the Diamondbacks, immediately getting into a fight with the Angels. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, shout out to APS. It is my energy provider. And if it's your energy provider, they want to help save you money. Of course, we could all use some help managing our energy bill every month here in the desert. But more importantly, we can use help managing our energy bills as those temperatures start to rise, moving into the summer months. We don't even have to get to the summer months before we are there. Spring is hot enough. I have a single bead of sweat running down my face right now as we speak that can't be stopped. And of course, you know that you can't stop the weather. You cannot do anything about it, but APS has ways to help you manage your bill and has several ways to do that, including the fact that APS customers can check their monthly plan comparison section right on your energy bill every month to see which rate plan could have saved them the most money for that month. Can also confirm for you that you are in fact on the best rate plan for your particular situation. And those rate plan options that can help you save money, they'll be listed right there. You can contact APS, talk to an agent, and switch it out. And of course, they also have their budget billing option that we've talked about, which allows you to average out your bill throughout the year. So that way you don't experience those high spikes during the summer months. Find all of your options to manage your bill at aps.com/let's talk right now. And don't wait. Don't wait. Trust me, I'm a procrastinator. I usually wait on this stuff. And then when I finally call and I start saving money, I'm like, you idiot. You should have called earlier. At least that's what I tell myself. So don't be like me. Call them today. Also, check out Branded Bills. You know I love hats. You know Damon loves hats. We know ball when it comes to hats, and that's why we know that Branded Bills is one of the best hat companies in the entire world, known to mankind. And that's because they make some very comfortable hats. They are stylish. They are performance. They have performance in mind. And of course, again, with this heat here in Arizona, they help you stay cool. And if you're looking to make some gear for your brand that stands apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need, whether you need snapbacks, fitted hats, trucker hats, beanies. They got t-shirts, they have bags, they have all sorts of accessories and new options that they're adding all the time. Branded Bills always has you covered with performance and with style. And again, if you're not looking to have some hats made for you, just check out their campus collection. They got wonderful hats for U of A and ASU, as well as some hats for the Phoenix Suns. And all of it will make your face look beautiful and your head look ready to go at all times. It's a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. So head on over to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order.
Is that a cache that Branded Bills can check, that they make you look prettier?
Oh God, yes, absolutely. I'll tell you,
That's fair.
As a fat-headed guy with a big head, both in every way, I'm on my last 2 notches on this particular hat, Damon. Not if it was a Branded Bills hat. Branded Bills is like, we got you covered, bro. You got 4 notches. They make my big head feel small because their hatches stretch a little bit and they're comfy, and they also go down and they cover my huge head a lot. But speaking of having huge heads, there was some maybe cooler heads did not prevail in the Angels Atlanta Braves game. Atlanta Braves pitcher Reynaldo Lopez, who the Diamondbacks just saw in our last series, ends up getting into a fight with one Jorge Soler. Damon, if there was one man in baseball I would not want to fight, if you asked me to put together at least a list of the 10 dudes in baseball I wouldn't want to fight, I do believe that Jorge Soler would be one of those names on that list. Meanwhile, maybe I'll add Braves pitcher Reynaldo Lopez as well, because he attempted to what looked like hit Jorge Soler in the head with a baseball while this fight was going on. And things got crazy. They have both now received a 7-game suspension each and an undisclosed fine for their actions in the bench clearing brawl that they experienced. They were scheduled to begin this afternoon, but both Lopez and Soler have elected to appeal. So Soler got to play in today's game, and guess what? He hit a home run. That was kind of fun. He homered off of Lopez on Tuesday in his first at bat of the night, and then he was hit by a pitch in his second time up. The two stared each other down because there was another high pitch in the 5th inning, and then Soler charged the mound and threw punches, and everybody got in a big fight. Damon, the one thing I thought seeing this, especially considering that the Diamondbacks just played this Braves team, is that my Diamondbacks would never. Right? I could never imagine. I just can't imagine this Diamondbacks team. Oh, what? Marte is going to come in and start throwing blows on another human being? I'm expected to believe that Geraldo Perdomo is going to charge the mound on another pitcher. Corbin Carroll is going to hurt a fly? Absolutely not. My sweet boys would never get into a brawl like this as long as they lived.
It's not Tory ball.
It's definitely not Tory ball. Yeah. Actually,
and it trickles down to the
actually, the
players.
two people I could see getting in a fight is Torrey and Bannister. That's the two guys that I could see going out there and fighting the entire team. But they would make everybody else stay at the bench, and they would go take on all 26 guys on the other team by themselves.
Bannister for sure, and I think he's supposed to be kind of the yin to Torrey's yang in
Right.
that regard. But I don't think Torrey is. I think Torrey gets fired up. He'll fight an umpire. But
Oh,
I don't
Torrey
think.
would fist fight an umpire.
But Torrey doesn't want to fight
You
another
know what's
team.
funny?
He's a
Torrey's
lover.
In fact, Torrey kind of hates the ABS system. You know why? Because he's not getting the fights with umpires. The ABS system is making stuff too on the up and up. There's no more arguments. He hasn't kicked dirt on an umpire one time this season yet. Not one ejection. Ugh. Anyway, it is something that it's kind of funny because, again, Torrey does hate this behavior. And I do believe that the Diamondbacks do stay out of altercations like this because Torrey doesn't retaliate and Torrey doesn't show up the other team and Torrey doesn't do a lot of things, and he requires his players to not do a lot of the things that do instigate these fights and these nasty incidents. It doesn't mean that they don't get into it every once in a while. It's hard to. It's hard not to, you know? But at the same time, it definitely feels like it's something that Torrey tries his best not to get involved in, or else he's going to get some mean text messages from his mom, who is probably going to tell him how disappointed she is in him. So there's that. But before we get out of here, I do want to commend the Pittsburgh Pirates. Damon, they did the thing, and they're doing the thing. This is an organization who we constantly bring up and say they are more part of the problem than the Los Angeles Dodgers are. Well, the Pirates have been paying some money out, and they have extended their young superstar, the top prospect in all of Major League Baseball, Konnor Griffin, to a record 9-year extension. They announced this morning he is still just 19 years old, and they have extended him to a contract that will keep him in Pittsburgh through 2034. It's reported to be in the range of $140 million with escalators that push it perhaps up to $150 million. But I have a feeling that if he ends up being the kind of player that they expect him to be, this is going to be a deal. It's going to be a steal, in fact. Hopefully Pirates fans are laughing years from now at that. But again, this just takes me back to us kind of coveting what the Braves started doing. I believe the Braves, and the Braves aren't the first team in Major League Baseball to ever do this, but
it was their philosophy almost.
It was, because we were just sitting there watching the Braves extend young player after young player, and we were like, we want that. Can we have that? I want that. And instead, and we got that. I'm not saying instead. In fact, we did get that. Diamondbacks extend Corbin Carroll to a deal that looks amazing now, considering the history that Corbin Carroll has made and the level of player that he has become. And Geraldo Perdomo, again, like I said earlier, they extend him right at the right time, extending him on a contract right before he ends up having the best season of his career.
So same with Ketel.
And Ketel.
Ketel's on a great contract. I mean, because they locked him down on it early before he became one of the best pure hitters in baseball. Before it was clear that he was just a absolute animal at the plate. They were like, this guy's really good. He's an all-star caliber player. Let's lock him up long-term. And it's been a really, really good contract for the Diamondbacks.
That's it. And I mean, today's money is not tomorrow's money. Tomorrow's money today's money is worth so much less tomorrow. So again, extending a kid like this through 2034, huge for that organization and very reminiscent of what the Diamondbacks did. Then they moved on. They started doing it with their pitchers, with Brandon Pfaadt, with Justin Martinez. The Diamondbacks have some good players locked in for the foreseeable future. And it's something that these baseball teams that are kind of in the middle need to do in order to compete with the Dodgers. You know, that's what needs to happen. You need to lock in your guys, and that's risky. This is risky for the Pirates to lock in a guy that just started his major league career. But it's wild how 10 games into the season, they're like, we've seen enough. We want you here forever. You know, the guy had one, I think his first at bat, he got a hit, and then he didn't get any more hits. And they were like, that's fine. We don't care. We've seen enough. Here's your money. Take your money. And yeah, I mean, Lost Highway brings up, it backfired with Wander Franco.
I mean,
in a big way.
And that's where it becomes about investing in people, right? And despite maybe the Diamondbacks not loving Ketel's ability to maybe be a great teammate at times. And I think Ketel took a lot of offense to that. And I think his teammates at times probably disagree with that he's not a good teammate, but that's from a Diamondbacks perspective. they know Cattell loves baseball, and they know Cattell isn't like going to do anything off the field that is going to jeopardize his ability to play baseball. And that's the other side of the coin, is that I think the Diamondbacks, as much as people give Torrey flack and Mike flack, and they deserve it at times, I think that they have done a really, really good job of building a culture in this organization, a culture of good people who do the right thing, who are all about baseball, and that, have good vibes generally. And that's something that makes this team easy to root for, which, I know you want to win at the end of the day. That's not the priority, is, having a bunch of good guys on the team,
Right.
but it does make it, as a fan, like, you get put in a better spot where you're like, I love these guys. They're awesome. They seem like really good dudes. And also, if they win, that's a cherry on top. So hopefully we can, continue to maybe have more games like this and less games like the game one of this series.
You're right. You're right. But and that's a great point. That brings me back to the fight, right? Like, that's why it's kind of funny to see the
That's why we'll never fight.
That's what I mean. Like, we just got guys of solid character. That
Jerry would walk out there and like go tackle someone and like bear hug them to the ground and
absolutely.
be like, no,
Yeah.
we're not going to do this right now. Like, that's the type of vibe the Diamondbacks are.
I mean, and it's kind of wild too, because in a way, people might see the kind of play from like the Dominican Republic team or the Venezuelan team, the playing with such emotion and celebrating the way they do, and the bat flips and everything, and think that that's the kind of stuff that instigates fights and whatnot. But it's not. They show love. They celebrate their achievements in baseball, which a lot of times, you got to be honest, even though you're hitting it off of a pitcher, like a lot of things that you do in baseball, especially at the plate, is a solo affair. It is just you up there doing the thing, and whatever the outcome is a result of your efforts, or God giving you the ability to do those things if you're a baseball player, which a lot of them have to give credit to. But still, it's one of those things that you feel definitely like, just because you're very celebratory, and because you're excited and you play the game with exuberance, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the kind of thing that should lead to you getting plunked with a pitch your next freaking at bat, simply because they didn't like the behavior after you hit your last home run and stuff. And I think that's the stuff that needs to get weeded out of baseball. That's kind of what happened here in this game. But even Diamondbacks players, I can't imagine even Diamondbacks players getting hit, even intentionally, and still reacting in any way other than just getting on base. So, but yeah, no, I mean, Kellen's trying to bring up a completely different roster, and I'm not saying the Diamondbacks as a franchise don't fight. Don't get me wrong. I've been present when fights have happened. I'm just saying this particular team, this particular iteration of the Diamondbacks, they're lovers. They're not fighters. And you love what you saw today when the Diamondbacks beat the Mets by 7-2. Also, love this fact from Mighty Schumann. He says, fun fact, Andrew Hoffman has yet to allow a barrel. Oof.
Andrew Hoffman has been good, man. I just saw people send out his game log and be like, we really traded Randall Grichuk for this demon. And that's the side of, sometimes you get a hit. And, it's not to say that it's all done and dusted, and Andrew Hoffman is he's Josh Hader in a Diamondbacks uniform. But
sometimes it takes a little while for that stuff to work itself out.
He's been pretty good largely in a Diamondbacks uniform, Andrew Hoffman.
Right.
And for a guy like Randall Grichuk, who is on an expiring deal, who doesn't hold a ton of value, to get a major league caliber reliever for that is a very good trade.
Agree.
So
we focus on the bad trades too much and the bad stuff.
Cade Stroud.
We're going to talk about that.
Like forever. we talk more about the Cade Stroud Blaze trade than we do about the Andrew Hoffman Randall Grichuk trade, and
1,000%.
And it's the different side of the exact same coin.
Yeah, it's the one that worked out for them versus one that so far has not. But again, even the Cade Stroud, trade remains to be seen. What if they call Cade Stroud up in a month and this guy shoves and he just becomes another permanent part of their bullpen,
then
helping them phase out maybe some other parts that aren't working?
Then please do not go back to this podcast in the early portions of this season, is what I will ask. Definitely don't go back and hear what I had to say about Ildemaro Vargas in the spring training period.
Oh yeah, no, do that. Go listen to any Cactus League game.
Don't do that.
They have a little spring training logo in the corner. It's easy to find those.
Please don't do that.
Feed there. But we love you guys. We thank you guys so much for being here. We thank the Diamondbacks for figuring out their offense, and we have one more game tomorrow. I think we just have a 12 p.m. start. That game has not been changed, by the way. Am I right? That game is still at 4:10 p.m. and people are going to freeze in New York, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the weather's supposed to be warming up, but we'll be back tomorrow with a 12 p.m. show. We will probably be focusing on that finale and talking a little bit more about the Diamondbacks' first 12 games here this season. Make sure to join us for that. In the meantime, you can follow us on social media. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG. And again, we don't have our stuff in here because the Cardinals guys took over our studio. We still got the cactus light, which is barely on. Of course, we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. Damon, there's a request here from J. Army Strong. He wants us to play us out with Jerry on Mount 500. So I'm going to go ahead and sign us off. Then we're going to do that, and we'll wrap it up. But, of course, we love you guys. We thank you for your time. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon. And until then, have a wonderful evening. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you get 500 games with Corbin Carroll in right field.
We all silly like the mayor.